Alright, so today we're going to look at similar triangles and the way we can tell triangles are similar. So, first off, our warm-up, make some ratios and solve some proportions. Number one, there are 480 sophomores and 520 juniors in a high school. We want to find the ratio of juniors to sophomores. So, we're looking at juniors to sophomores. And that means that juniors are the 520. Sophomores are the 480. We can get rid of the zeros to simplify. We also note that these are both even numbers, right? So at the very least, we can divide by 2 for both of these. 52 divided by 2 is 26. And 48 divided by 2 is 24. Again, we're both even, so we can divide by 2. So we could have divided by 4 on the first set, with 52 and 48. So either way, we divide by 2 now, and we get 13 to 12. Those can't simplify. They don't have anything common besides 1, so that is it. The ratio is 13 to 12. Number 2, a strip of wood molding that is 33 inches long is cut into 2 pieces whose lengths are the ratio of 7 to 4. What are the lengths of the 2 pieces? So now we're looking at an extended ratio similar to when we did triangles and the angles of all the triangles given a ratio like 1 to 3 to 4, and then using that to make whatever angles we would need equal to 180. So here our extended ratio would be 7x to 4x. And we take this, and we know that 7x plus 4x needs to equal our total length, which was 33. So 7 plus 4 is 11. So 11x equal to 33. We divide by 11, and x is equal to 3. Now, it wants us to actually find the lengths, so 7 times 3 and 4 times 3. 7 times 3 is 21. 4 times 3 is 12. Our units here are inches. So we got to make sure we include the unit here, since there is one given to us. Number 3, we need to solve the proportion. So all that means is we are going to cross multiply. So x times 72 is 72x. And 6 times 84 gets us 504. We now divide by 72. So x is equal to 504 divided by 72, which comes out to be 7. So today we did a Kahoot. We're going to skip over that. So first type of similarity. So similarity and congruency have some similar, for lack of a better word, things here. So angle similarity. We did not have angle congruence, and the reason for that is because you can have any similar angles or any congruent sets of angles, and the lengths can be whatever they want to be. So that means that we can only have angle similarity. Now, if you notice, we only have 2 in there, right? It's not angle. And the reason for that is once you know that 2 angles are congruent to 2 angles of another triangle, that means that the third angle is going to be congruent as well, but it doesn't matter. We don't need that third one to know that the triangles are similar. So if 2 angles of one triangle are congruent to 2 angles of another triangle, then the triangles are similar. So, here we are given 2 triangles. We need to find 2 angles that are congruent, or 2 pairs of angles that are congruent, to say that they are similar. So, angle B and angle D are both 42. So there's one pair. So we have angle B is congruent to angle D. So there's one angle. Now, we don't have our third angle that's the same, right? We have a 58 and a 80. So what we need to do is actually find that third angle in either of these triangles. So that means we know that the sum of the angles is 180. So we can do 58 plus 42 and see what we get there. That's going to get us 100. 180 minus 100 is 80. So that means that angle A is 80. And that means that angle A matches with angle E. They're both 80. And that's our second angle. So we have angle, angle, similarity. And that means that we need to name them now with a similarity statement. So triangle ABC is similar, which is just one little squiggle, no equal sign here anymore. That is similar to triangle EDF. Our next one here, we are not given any angles, but we don't need to know the actual value of the angles, we just need to know that they are congruent. So since we have vertical angles in the middle at X, we know they're congruent. So there's one pair. So let's name them. Angle QXP is congruent to angle NXM. So there's one angle. We need a second one. And since QP and MN are parallel, we know that angle Q is going to be congruent to angle N. And the reason we know that is because they are alternate interior angles. They're on opposite sides of the transversal, QN, and they are both inside of the parallel lines, QP and MN. So angle Q is congruent to angle N. There's our second A. We do once again have angle similarity. So now again we just need to name them in a similarity statement. So triangle QXP is similar to triangle NXM. You notice I just used the name of the two angles at the beginning, the first pair of angles that were congruent. We just used those to name them since they did match up already as I was. Here are the other two types of similarity: side-side similarity and side-angle similarity. So if now we're not looking at congruent sides, we're looking at proportional sides. So for side, if the corresponding side lengths of two triangles are proportional, then the triangles are similar. And side-angle side, same idea with the sides, they need to be proportional, the angles need to be congruent. So if the lengths of two sides of one triangle are proportional to the lengths of two corresponding sides of another triangle, and the included angles are congruent, then the triangles are similar. So let's take a look at some problems with this. So here's our first one. All we need to do is decide if it's similar. We don't have any other thing to do. So, since we are given all three sides of both triangles, probably should use side. So let's look at that. So I'm going to match these up with different colors. So 6 and 4, 9 and 6, and 7.5 and 5. So let's set up our proportions for the 6 and 4. So 6 over 4, and that simplifies down to 3 over 2. 9 over 6. Once again, 3 goes into these ones here. 3 and 2 times respectively. And then 7.5 and 5. Now, since that's a decimal, I'm going to double it so we can get rid of the decimal. So then that's going to be 15 over 10. 5 goes into both of these. 3 and 2 times. We got our 3 over 2 all 3 times, so that means we do have side, side, side similarity. So that means that triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEC. So here's our next one. Here we are not given the bottom side of either of our two triangles, so that means we're probably going to look for side angle side. So first off, one of our sides is the 10 and the 12. Our second side we're going to look at is the whole length on each side, MR and MS. So we need to add these up. 15 plus 10, 25, and 12 plus 18 is 30. So there's our other sides that we're going to look at. So first off, once again, we'll go back to the 10 and the 12. Or actually, we got to match up, sorry. So 10 over 25, actually. Because they're on the same part of the triangle. So this simplifies down. 10 goes into both, or 5 goes into both, sorry. 2 times and 5 times. So 2 over 5. So there's one side. Let's look at the angle that we would need. And if you notice, both of these triangles use the same angle, M. So angle M is the same angle for both triangles, so angle M, of course, is congruent to angle M. So there's our angle part. And just to make sure that we do have our third side congruent, we're going to do 12 over 30. 6 goes into both of these. 6 goes into 12 2 times. 6 goes into 30 5 times. So we got our 2 over 5 again. So we do have side angle side congruence, not congruence, sorry, similarity. So side angle side similarity. And that means that triangle MRS is similar to triangle MNP. So, some properties of similarity, same properties we've been looking at, reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. And so, now we have a couple of triangles here. You're given some information. We need to make sure they're similar before we can do anything with them. So, we know that the middle angle at Q, there's the pair of angles that are similar because, or congruent, because they're vertical angles. And again, because the sides are parallel, RS and UT are parallel, that means that T is congruent to R and U is congruent to S. We do have two angles that are congruent at least, so that means that we do have similar triangles. So now we can actually go ahead and set up our proportions. So we're given some information about side lengths and the bases of the triangles, the ones that are parallel to each other. So we do 2x plus 10 over x plus 3, since they are the congruent parts of one of the two triangles, and not congruent, similar, sorry. And then 4 and 10 are in the same position, they're corresponding, that's what I meant to say earlier, 10 over 4. So now we're going to cross multiply. So that's going to be 4 times 2x plus 10 equal to 10 times x plus 3. We're going to distribute the 3 and the 4. 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times 10 is 40. 10 times x is 10x. And 10 times 3 is 30. So now, I'm going to subtract 10x from both sides. (8x minus 10x is a negative 2x plus 40 equal to 30. Let me subtract 40 from both sides. So negative 2x is equal to negative 10. Then we divide by negative 2 on both sides. Negative divided by negative is positive. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And that's not what we wanted to find, but we need it to find what we want to find. So we got our x. Now we're going to plug it back in. So 2 times 5 plus 10. 2 times 5 is 10. And 10 plus 10 is 20. Then for the other side, our q, 5 plus 3, which is just 8. All right, so here we have, we're looking at the Sears Tower in Chicago. We want to find the height of the Sears Tower. Given that the height of a light pole outside of it is 12 feet, and at the same exact time the shadow of the light pole is 2 feet, while the shadow of the Sears Tower is 242 feet. So, let's set up our proportion. So there's a couple ways we can do this. We can do 2 over 12 and 242 over x, or we can do 2 over 242 equal to 12 over x. Either way, it'll work. As long as we have similar parts to be opposite, so they're not going to multiply together. So 2 over 12 is equal to 242 over x. So we need to cross multiply. So 2 times x is just going to be 2x. And 12 times 242, we work that out. So 10 times 200 12 times 200 is going to be 2400. 12 times 40, so 12 times 4 is 48, add the 0. And 12 times 2 is 24. We add these up and we get 2904. Now all we have to do is divide this by 2. Two goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 9 8 times, 2 goes into 10 5 times, not 8 times, 4 times, 5, 2. And our unit is feet. Sorry about the bills. So that is our last problem. But here's all about similarity here. 3 types we looked at today. We had a practice worksheet that day. Here's your exit ticket.